Hi everyone, it is Mrs. Red here from Mrs. Red's Art Room, and today we're having a look at what is inside the February 18 Red's art cart. I have here a sample of the actual artwork that's in the cart, so how about we go and have a look. Okay, so we're going to briefly go through what's inside the February Red's art cart, and then I'm going to give you a quick demonstration of especially the Atelier Free Flow. So basically everything you see here is inside your cart. Very quickly, the two brushes that you've got are a acrylic or watercolour brush. Nothing fancy, but nothing too cheap either, just a nice brush, and I've put them into two sizes in the flat series. Bit of a challenge for you to paint with flat brushes rather than round ones, which are my personal preference. This little one here is a palette knife. Palette knives come in all shapes and sizes. The good thing about a palette knife is that they don't need to be of a particular brand or a particular price. Basically, they're a very basic instrument that is used for paint and your medias in regards to art. So you've got the nice little one for there. Quickly before I go into that, you also get your trading card and your little social media card. So this little social media card, I don't think I've explained this in one of the videos before, is basically when you do your artwork and you want to put it onto social media, throw it down into, I'm just got to make sure you can still see that, into the corner, and it just basically helps promote the Red's art cart. So that's what that one's for. And then the artist trading card, like I explain in the info card, it is personally up to you if you use it and send it back to me with a little artwork on it, and then I will put it into someone else's art cart, or you can simply just use it for yourself and give it to a friend or a family member. Alright, so in regards to these products, I'm going to actually clear this and then speak about those ones individually. Okay, so I'm going to start with the Atelier Free Flow paints that you're getting. You get the Quinacridone Magenta, bit of a hard one, that one. The Phthalo Blue, another hard saying name, and the Titanium White. So I'm just doing a demonstration with the, let's just call it magenta to keep it easy, and also just a comparison with a heavy-bodied acrylic as well, which is the same colour, same brand, everything like that. So I'm going to read exactly off the website at the moment to say what the Atelier is talking about with these free flow paints. They have been around roughly for around 5 years now. I discovered them about 3 years ago and have really enjoyed using them ever since I found them. They're in between a heavy-bodied tube of paint and a watercolour, which is the best thing. So here's what the website actually says about it. The most fluid and vivid artist's acrylic in the world. So that's a pretty big statement to say. Can be used standalone or incorporated with your other acrylic paints. It glides from the brush and requires very little dilution, which is very true. Hence why I've given you brushes that are watercolour brushes as well as acrylic, but better for watercolour because these are liquid acrylics. A very velvet matte finish with rich and vibrant colours. Must remember that it is a matte finish. Use for flat, even application and fine details. Ideal for mixed media. You can actually mix your mediums with these paints. Use on canvas, paper or board. There's 36 colours available. Now everyone's getting them in the 60ml bottle. Then imagine you get a 250ml bottle, which I do actually have a sample of here. There's the size of the 250ml, and then there's also now a 500ml. You should be able to find the 60ml on the Mrs. Red's art shop website. I will be carrying these again. Now there's one thing that they also do mention, which they've got in bold, which is due to the brilliant matte finish, Atelier Free Flow should not be varnished. So that's just something to keep in mind. Okay, so I really want to quickly now go through and give you a comparison of why, well, not of why, but what the difference is between the two acrylics. Okay, so I'll just put that in the bucket. Give your little bottles a good old shake first. When they are new, make sure you give them a good shake. Also, one thing with them is that when they're new, they are full, so they are very hard to shake. So it's a bit of a win-lose on that one. Okay, I'm not putting much in because this is merely just the little demonstration. So, and I better make sure that that brush is actually fairly dry. There we go. So if I put this down and just paint here. Now all I'm going to do to this is basically just add some water and show you how it will water its way down. I'll just get a bit of paint off the brush there. With your tubes of acrylic, you should never actually water them down with water. It's way too hard, but you can do it with the Free Flow. So you can see it's going into that watercolour consistency. Now I'll just put some of the heavy-bodied magenta in. And just dry this brush again. Don't know how well that picks it up, but it just looks absolutely beautiful, that wash. Okay, nice dry brush again. Put a bit of that one on. Looking the same so far. Like I said, you should never actually water down tube acrylics. They need to have a medium. It's just blanking me on the actual name of the medium that you use. I use it all the time, and it's just, I'm just blanking. So there we go. There's the example wet of the breakdown of the two. There we go there. Which may look a little bit different when it's dried too. Ooh, look at that. Nice. So we'll leave that one there. And finally we're on to what is called the Liquitex glass beads. Now the glass beads is one of many of the Liquitex mediums. I've used quite a few of them and they are a lot of fun. Their purpose is really, these ones particularly, are really very decorational, a lot of mixed media and art journaling. So I wanted to give you a sample of one of their mediums anyway. So unfortunately, everyone, you're not getting it in a tub like this, which is a 237ml tub. A, because it's too heavy, and B, because it would have been the expense of the art cart in one hit. So you're getting it in a little 40ml jar, and that will be enough for you to have a little play with it. And then if you really do like them, yes, you can actually buy the glass beads from my online shop or from other art suppliers as well. So the glass beads, did I get along well with them? I did a lot of experimenting and I thought that I would share it with you today as well. I'm just going to put that up because it wants to keep rolling over, which is annoying me. So with the finished piece, you can see the glass bead has been used there. I did a lot of playing around with the glass beads to work out how I was going to introduce them with the Free Flow. There is two ways you can do it. You can do it without putting any paint into it at all, which is what I have done here, and you can actually mix paint with them as well and use them that way. So I just want to go through a bit of an experimentation phase that I had. This one here, purely I have, oh, there we go. I put silver paint down first. You can almost see those brush marks, and then over the top spread the glass beads. Now with the glass beads, they come out like in a pasty solution. It's so bright that it's hard to actually see. There we go. It's like a bit of a toothpaste consistency. They will dry clear though. It takes about 24 hours for them to completely dry though. So there is a little bit of drying time involved with them. So that one was the acrylic paint followed by the glass beads. And I know it's hard for you guys to see that in here, but it just looks beautiful like that. So that would be a great piece for mixed media. Then here with the sunflowers, this was when I was going to do complementary colours rather than colours that actually blend together. So I chose the purple and the yellow so that you can actually get that brown as well from those two colours. With both of those examples, I have drawn up the artwork first, put a bit of paint down, then put the beads down, and then gone over it again with paint. And gotta say, I did not like that finish. Maybe I just did it wrong, and perhaps if you give it a go painting over the top of the beads, it will work for you. There is also another example here, which is really hard to see because I did it in the dioxazine purple. I don't even think you can actually see the beads in there, but just on this one here, not these, they're the that's a tube of acrylic, that's the free flow. That actually looks really stunning. So perhaps with a really dark paint, they look really nice and give a lot of texture. Otherwise, personal preference would be to just have them separate. I love this one. I love drawing pairs. They're something that I can just easily do, and I loved everything about this one, and that's what I tried to do with the jug. However, I prefer the scoop of glass bead that I put over the pear than I did over this. I think this was just a bit too thick. Cat hair on it, of course. So with that one, it's a bit hard to see, but I've it's heavier here with the glass bead, and as I come down here, the swish just the beads start to disappear. What you will see though, if I can get it in the right light, maybe I can't, is that wherever the medium that is holding those glass beads down, wherever that sits, you will never get rid of that. So it's a gloss finish, it dries gloss, and you'll never get rid of it. So I smeared a bit over here, which I don't think you can actually see in here. Maybe if I do it like that, you can see those little bits there. So you've got to be really careful with it in that regard. I didn't get any extra on the actual artwork that I did there. And this one was actually the first jug I did, which was a little bit too detailed, and I didn't like. This is done with exactly the same colours, and everything that we've used there is being used again. It's just a very it wasn't the finish that I wanted it to be, but I did like how I had just done a smear of the glass beads there. You can see on this one I was playing around with it, and because the paint was dry, I was able to actually scrape it back up and use it again, which was good. But it will leave that that gloss shadow. So this was an experiment, so I was happy to do that. Very quickly, I will just demonstrate how you apply the beads. So you do need to use a palette knife for the beads. It's all water based, so you can just wash everything off easily. But you do I didn't try it with a brush, but I don't think a brush will work. I think it will just the beads will sit in the bristles of the brush. So scoop an amount on, tap it onto where you're going to work, and then you're actually using the bottom of the palette knife, and you'll just smear it along like that. And then if that's all you're going to do, then you just leave that. Oh wow, can't see anything like that. There you go, you can see it there. It's fairly thick there, and but because I'm not using that, I can just scoop that back up and put it back in. That was on my demo. Alright, so that is the glass beads. Had a lot of fun with them, and I hope you do as well. Thanks for watching the video, and I'd love to see some of your artworks as well. Make sure you put them up onto social media. I'll see you next time. Bye.